Many people have been asking what has happened with the black grassroots and why have you guys been so effective lately? There's been several reasons why. People can point to individual people, but even those individuals wouldn't want me to point to those individuals because it was a collaborative effort. It was everybody. But there are a few things that you can point to, a few pivotal moments you can point to that if I fully realize Democratic operatives and the government and FBI, CIA, DEA, everybody's watching my channel. I realize that. I mean, you got some ops in Washington State who are pretending to be Black Panthers who are white people. So I fully realize I got ops watching my channel. But let me explain to you from the perspective of a black veteran as to what's happening. Several things happened. Number one, we were exposed to more knowledge. We didn't realize some of the things that Martin Luther King had actually said, some of the things that Malcolm X had actually said. And you got to give a shout out to Tariq Nasheed. You know, I give him a big ups and big credit because Hidden Colors put a lot of that stuff out there. You know, shout out to Professor Black Truth for being a voice for so many people who were looking for a radio shock jock type of personality to get behind. Shout out to the Black Authority. You know, many people wanted that black businessman they could look up to as someone who could help them not fail or someone who can help them succeed. Shout out to Lisa Cabrera. You know, there was a lot of beauty salon black women. That's what I call them, who needed a voice. And Lisa Cabrera has slowly become that voice. You know, you got sports media, you got Ticket TV, you got Rated R Sports, you got so many different avenues that black influencers have moved in and become the same voice that you heard from white creators, but except with a black twist to it. And that's the beautiful part. Now you're hearing things from the black perspective because honestly, as a black man, and I can't speak for black women or anyone else, but I can speak as a black man. There's not a lot that you can turn on the TV and watch. You know, I turn on Netflix and I was watching this time traveling series where people were messing around with their aunts, going back in time, weird stuff like that. And it was so weird. Like, and I'm like, the average black man's not watching this. Or I go and turn on, you know, maybe Disney Plus and you're thinking that, oh, there's Black Panther, there's Wakanda Forever, there's all kinds of movies, but it's not really a lot for you, right? And so the white market realized that, and that's why whenever you have the Little Mermaid, you know, despite the fact that if you were to follow the Yoruba traditions with the Yoruba gods who were known as the Orisha, there were mermaids even back then, right? This is why any kind of change in any kind of demographics, you're seeing the white audience have a huge backlash to. And the reason for that is because the new black media and the black grassroots, we've been pushing for changes. See, what essentially happens is that over time, we were treated as a silent audience because we allow our greatest shows, our greatest networks to be owned and operated by white people or even black people who really were just a mouthpiece for white supremacy. Let's be honest, right? Let's just keep it a buck. And so for the longest time, we've been grouped into a category of people who didn't have a home to go to for entertainment, for news, for social opinions, for opinions on sports, science, technology. And you have a rise of the new black creator that's providing that for the people, and it's free of charge. See, when people started looking more towards content creators for their news, for their social opinions, to look at live streams, look at video games, it wasn't so much to just replace the media, it was to get a real authentic opinion. Reaction culture, it goes both ways. It helps somebody who's a no talent content creator become big by doing pranks, but it also helps the smaller creator who wants to expose a certain type of news or just talk about the news or talk about current events. It helps them grow too. But it's all bred out of distrust from the current institutions that we currently are asked we are currently asked to trust. You know, people have been told for the longest time to trust CNN, but we come from a generation where CNN encouraged wars. that were unjust. CNN did that. And now the same CNN is trying to convince young women they care about their bodies. While I think two things can be true at once, you have to reconcile them though. You know? Or you look at Fox News, who is now trying to push, the idea that law enforcement is unfairly targeting certain ex-presidents, when it was the same Fox News who was pushing Blue Lives Matter. See, people don't like those inconsistent opinions. Many people call content creators like myself rigid, stubborn. No, we're not rigid or stubborn. We can change our minds. It's called consistency. It's called being who you are. There's no amount of money you can pay me to stop doing what I'm doing or change my opinions. The only thing that would change my opinions are facts. That's what every content creator who's a part of the Foundation of Black Americans, who's a part of the New Black Media, who's a part of any new group, even brothers and sisters across the African diaspora, you're seeing this rise in the information. See, that's a game changer. That's a game changer. They can't force you to go out and watch Tucker Carlson when you have Professor Black Truth as an alternative. They can't go and ask you to go and watch Michelle Malkin, right? When you can go and listen to all the lovely black sisters that we have on this app. You got Queenie, it's one of my favorite light-skinned sisters. You got the brown girl on the bus. I mean, you got so many different content creators now, and basically we are to the mainstream and to white supremacy and to the dominant white society what streaming apps are to Netflix. In fact, I would even go even further. I would say we are to the dominant society what streaming apps are to Blockbuster. They are behind now. They're behind. When you come from a culture of having to resist, having to fight back, having to have Black Panther parties who are legit, by the way, the ones back there certainly legit, who made the original memes, calling police officers pigs. When you have a culture of people who are known to demonstrate, who are known to arm themselves, who are known to utilize art, dance, television, movies, some cases video games, people who are known to push their messages in any kind of way possible, because you would do that if you are from an oppressed people. When you have a people that's like that, we're tough to deal with. If you look at across the African diaspora, populations of black people outnumber white people in the dominant society, probably sometimes 6-1, 8-1, 10-1, and probably even beyond that. And yet still doesn't put up the fight that we do here. And the reason why is because of what I just said. All the resistance. And that resistance only comes if you haven't colonized the people's minds. See, you might have colonized America, you might have colonized South America, you might have colonized African continent, you've colonized everywhere. But there's some spaces where the dominant white society is not welcome. Even if you are in an interracial relationship, even if you're gay, even if you are LGBT, there are some spaces that the dominant white society should not be allowed. And that's here. That's here. And that's the problem. That's where the rise has come. The rise has come because the information age has come. And black creators realize that. We realize that marching on the streets is easy to do, but we got to organize that. It's easy to throw a few dollars at a black-owned business, but you got to organize that. It's easy to put out movies and everything else, but you got to make it consistent. And we're doing that now. Shout out to everyone doing the work. Everyone. We're here to stay. My son's going to be born today. I'm going to be a father again. And I'm very excited for his future. ACAB 1312.